Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There are seasons where life feels like one long uphill climb, where every step feels heavier than the last, and no matter how much you push forward, it seems like the ground keeps slipping beneath you. Maybe you've been in that season, where the weight of expectation, the weight of pressure, the weight of simply existing feels endless. But hear this, the end of that struggle is near. Because God never designed your life to be an endless war. He designed it with valleys and mountaintops, with battles and breakthroughs. Every storm has an expiration date. Every season of struggle eventually closes. And you, right now, are standing closer than you've ever been to peace breaking through. But here's a truth most people don't realize. Many times, the deepest source of our struggles isn't just what happens to us, it's how we look at life itself. Imagine this. Someone convinces themselves that life only counts if they live in a mansion, if success looks a certain way, if they hit the markers society parades as enough. What happens? Joy rarely visits them, because the baseline is set so high, they miss the quiet beauty that was already here. Now imagine that same person with the exact same life, but their baseline of joy rests in hearing birds chirp outside the window, in thanking God for a warm meal, in the simple blessing of being able to walk freely. Suddenly, almost everything in life feels good, because their eyes are open to what's already present, not just what's missing. This is not about lowering your dreams or refusing to grow. It's about remembering what more truly means. Society has diluted the meaning of a dream life with screens, noise, and comparison. But heaven's definition of abundance is different. Abundance is not just about what you gain tomorrow. It's about what you recognize today. And this is why so many people live in constant struggle, even when their roof is above them and their table is filled, because their eyes are locked on what the world says is missing, rather than on the blessings God has already poured into their days. But when you pause, when you let the noise fall silent, when you peel back the expectations placed on you, you notice something powerful. God has been directing your life all along. Every leaf that falls, every sunrise that breaks the horizon, every breath you take, none of it is by accident. And when you take your eyes off of what you think is lacking and place them on what is already here, struggle begins to loosen its grip. This doesn't mean you stop striving, stop dreaming, or stop reaching for more. It means you no longer measure your worth by what you don't yet have. You live in joy while you grow. You walk in peace while you climb. That is where struggle begins to end, not when the outside world changes, but when your spirit realigns with the truth of how much God has already given. And here's another truth. The blessings of God are not random drops that fall once in a while. They are a constant stream, always flowing, always available. The difference is this. Some people place themselves in that stream through trust, faith, and surrender. Others spend their whole lives trying to figure everything out only with their own minds. And that never works, because the brain alone cannot carry the mysteries of a divine story. But you belong to the first group. You've been learning step by step how to trust, how to release the obsession of figuring everything out, and instead place yourself under the flow of God's stream. And that's why heaven is saying, the end of struggle is near for you. Think of it like this. When a butterfly has finished its time in the cocoon, the shell can't hold it anymore. The walls that once protected now have to break. That's where you are. The season that shaped you is complete, and heaven itself is demanding your wings to unfold. Your struggle was never meant to be permanent. It was only preparation. The winds are quieting, the rain is slowing, and what you thought might last forever is already breaking apart. And remember, the struggle is not your definition. It is not the name heaven calls you by. It was a chapter, and that chapter is closing. You are stepping into a new alignment, where peace is louder than pressure, where gratitude opens the door to joy, and where trust places you directly under the flow of God's blessings. The end of struggle is near, and soon you will not just believe it, you will feel it. There's something sacred about this moment you're in. You may not feel it yet, but heaven does. Because what you've been carrying is not light, and still you carried it. You pressed forward when most would have collapsed. And that is why the message is reaching you now. Let's be honest about struggle. It's not just about circumstances. It's not only unpaid bills or unanswered prayers. Struggle also lives in the mind, the constant wrestling, the self-questioning, the heaviness of wondering if you'll ever see breakthrough. That's what drains the soul most. Not the storm outside, but the storm within. And yet, here you are. You made it through countless mornings when your body wanted to stay in bed. You showed up when your heart was fractured. You kept walking when fear told you to freeze. That resilience is not invisible. It's recorded in heaven. But maybe you've wondered, if God loves me, why has it been so hard? That question is not weakness, it's honesty. And the answer is this: struggle was never the whole story. It was only the shaping ground. And yes, it's okay to feel tired sometimes, but the beauty is, even in restlessness, you keep trusting that every part of your life carries its necessity. Think about the butterfly again. If you cut open the cocoon too early, the butterfly never develops the strength to fly. The pressure of pushing against the walls is what builds its wings. Your struggle wasn't there to destroy you, it was building you for the flight that's about to unfold. And now, because the shaping season is complete, the walls can't hold you anymore. Struggle cannot define you anymore. You're breaking through into light. Here's something else to hold. God's blessings are not waiting to suddenly begin in the future. They have always been flowing, always. The stream never stopped, but when struggle consumes us, we forget to step into that stream. We start to believe the blessing is delayed, when in truth, it was present, but our eyes were fixed only on the lack. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Gratitude isn't ignoring reality, it's choosing which reality to magnify. We can stare at what's missing until our soul starves, or we can turn toward what's already here and realize God has been feeding us all along. Think about it. How many mornings have you woken up when you thought you had no strength left? How many times did the path open just when you thought it was over? How many small mercies have held you, merely breathing, eating, walking, being kept alive? That's blessing. That's the stream, and your trust is what keeps you in it. Some people spend their whole lives trying to make sense of everything with logic alone. They treat life like a puzzle, believing if they think harder, they'll figure out the pattern. But life isn't solved by the brain. It's lived by the spirit. That's why trust matters. Trust doesn't mean you stop moving. Trust means you stop strangling life with control. It means you lean into the knowing that God directs every tide that shifts, every star that lights the night. If He tends to creation at that level of detail, how much more is He tending to you? And you, my dear friend, you've been stepping into that trust, slowly, quietly, faithfully. That's why your struggle cannot continue as it has. You've already shifted. You're already aligned with the stream. Heaven has already marked your release. But let me also say this with clarity. God is not just ending your struggle externally. He's ending it internally. Because the heaviest chains are not the bills, the doors, the rejections. The heaviest chains are the beliefs that whispered, maybe I'll never get out. Maybe this is just who I am. Maybe my life is just struggle after struggle. That lie is breaking right now. Heaven is saying, your story is not struggle. Your story is redemption. Your story is divine alignment. Your story is wings opening after long darkness. Picture this, the darkest night finally softening into dawn. The sky hasn't fully cleared yet, but you can see the first streak of light stretching across the horizon. That's where you are. Not in endless night, not yet in full day, but right at the moment where night loses its power. And soon, that light will not just touch the horizon, it will fill the whole sky. That's the life waiting for you. Not a life where everything is perfect, but a life where joy and peace meet you daily. So lift your eyes. The season of endless climbing is closing. The cocoon is breaking. The tide is turning. The dawn is rising. The end of struggle is near. And soon you will see what peace feels like when it's not temporary, but rooted in God Himself. And when you step into that peace, you'll realize something profound. The struggle was never your identity. It was only the soil. And from that soil, something holy is about to bloom. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If this message resonated, please like, share it with someone who might benefit, and subscribe to stay connected. Continue your awakening journey by choosing one of the videos on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.